Right now, across the U.S. and around the world, families and people of faith are gathering to celebrate this holiday season. So today, we want to take a closer look at how younger people are engaging with religion and how the institutions are trying to bring them in. So here to discuss this are Rabbi Josh Stanton, Associate Vice President of Interfaith and Intergroup Initiatives at the Jewish Federations of North America, Imam Shamsi Ali, Director of Jamaica Muslim Center in New York City, and Reverend Brandan Robertson, pastor at Sunnyside Reformed Church of New York City. Thank you all three so much for being here. And you're all friends, right? You know each other prior to this. You're not just meeting today, which is incredible. It's going to be a good conversation. So, Rabbi, we'll start with you. What does this time of year mean for you and your congregation?
It means hope, but there's also a level of concern in Jewish communities. We're the victims of the majority of religiously motivated hate crimes. And last year, Jewish communities spent $765 million on physical security. And we really are calling on the government to increase nonprofit security grant funding so that we can gather safely and we can pray safely.
I want to talk more about security in a minute, but Reverend, Pew Research Center recently completed a study this year that found young adults here in the U.S. are less likely to identify with a religion than older Americans. Do you see that as a problem? Is there anything that you're doing to try and bring them into the fold?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually understandable. I think our social media algorithms push the most extreme voices of religion. And when I see those voices, I'm, of course, turned off by them as well, because they don't represent the common core that I think all of our faiths call us to, which is love for your neighbor, goodwill towards all people. And so part of what I do in my own ministry is try to get on TikTok with other clergy members and offer an alternative perspective that does ground our faith in our common humanity and common values rather than the minute theological details that we might disagree about.
Interesting that you think social media plays such a big role. Imam, you were shaking your head. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, certainly I fully agree to both sides, actually, Rabbi, that at the moment we are at the crossroad as a Muslim community. In one hand, as you may know, that just recently a Muslim got elected to the mayor for the city, and that's really very exciting for the Muslim community. But on the other hand, Islamophobia is highly rising, and openly, actually, to an extent that a city councilwoman, for example, calling for the expulsion of the whole Muslim, not only from New York or from the United States, from the whole Western nations. And that is actually hurting our community. In one hand, that we are hopeful that we are embraced by our neighbors right now. We feel that we are a part of the mainstream, but on the side, it looks like we are push back. Looks like we are the other here. So I hope that as we are entering into New Year, we're going to be hopeful and be optimistic more.
I want to get all three of your takes on this. I mean, we are seeing so much global conflict and suffering and a lot of division here at home as well. How is that something that you tackle, and what is your message to the community? We'll start with you, Rabbi.
Get to know each other and make sure that you know your own tradition as well. The Jewish people are a family that became a faith that stayed a family. And so we have to care about each other as any family would. And at the same time, we need to be bridge builders. We need to know our neighbors. One of the wonderful programs at Jewish Federations of North America is called Student to Student, and it trains Jewish young people to go out and speak about their tradition to other communities, and also to listen and receive information about other groups so that they can be in real dialogue and friendship. It's all about in-person.
To take on the point that the Rabbi mentioned on the importance of learning one another, in our tradition, it's called ta'aruf, getting to know one another. And it is the beginning of the journey to build an understanding. I used to call New York City as the greatest, of course, this is the greatest city in the world, still the most beautiful city in the world for me, because I've been here for 3 decades right now, and this is the only home that I have at the moment. But the greatness and the beauty of the city actually rests in the fact that it is not only because this is the home of Wall Street or the United Nations, but the fact that this is a city of bridges. And the bridges that we have connect not only between the boroughs, more importantly, between the peoples of the borough. We get to connect one another. And to have someone calling certain community to be expelled, for example, it is just unpatriotic, it is un-American, it's dangerous at the same time. So I think we need to come back to, and be united as one people, as the Constitution begins with we the people. We all know this is the land of opportunity for every single American, and we consider this is our home. We're not going anywhere. This is our home. My kids used to say, Dad, those people calling us to go home, where are you going? This is my home. I'm born here. I'm eating my food here. I'm earning here. Where I'm going, this is my home. But to listen to those people say, go home, where we are going? This is our home, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking a lot because I think the Christian tradition in this moment and Christian nationalism is part of what's stoking so much of the division and fear between different religions and different backgrounds. And the Christmas story that we're celebrating this week, at its heart, is an interfaith story. We have three magi that come from the East that scholars recognize are people of different religions and cultures. We have the Christmas story emerging out of a Jewish tradition with Jewish people as the main characters. And the message that the angels give in the story of Jesus' birth is peace on earth and goodwill towards all people. And if we're going to exercise goodwill, if we're going to live out the story of Christmas, we have to get to know our neighbors, as Rabbi Josh says. And I think once we can get proximity to people who are different, it's a lot harder to demonize people when you know them, when your neighbors are not just stereotypes you've heard on social media or in the broader media, but are actually people that you're doing life with and can see face to face. So it's my hope that in this season, Christians across this country will do the work of loving their neighbors by getting to know their neighbors.
Go ahead and let you guys give any kind of final thoughts to wrap this up, anything that you might want from maybe the security conversation we were having or any of the other topics.
There's a lot of work to be done for the common good. And it's time to call for the government to more thoughtfully regulate social media, not to in any way undermine free speech, but to make sure that hate speech does not radicalize people. And similarly, the government has a really important role to play in physical security, increasing nonprofit security grants. And together, across religious communities, we can find those as sources of common cause.
The fact that immigrants are coming to this country not only for economic opportunities, but also the opportunity to feel freedom. And I think freedom of expression is very important, but at the same time, we must have to be aware that we have that responsibility towards our neighbors. As you mentioned about love your God with all your heart and mind, and love your neighbors as yourself. The Prophet Muhammad, said, for example, none of you is truly believing until his neighbor is safe from his evil. And it is action and words. So it's we Muslims, not only that we're trying to be a good neighbors, but we have to make sure that our neighbors are safe from our evils.
And just to echo what's already been said, Jesus summarizes the whole of Christian faith in love your neighbor as yourself. And if we're going to love our neighbor, that means we have to actually take action. So many people speak that, so many people believe that, but this time of year especially, it's a time to get out and actually serve your community. And I know many faith communities are doing that at this time of year, but also to sit and to listen. If we don't understand our neighbor, if we don't understand their traditions, then we're going to fall prey to the people on social media that might demonize them. And I think education is a really important way to combat against the extremism and the division that we're seeing in our country right now.
I think all three of you reminded me we have more that unites us than that which divides us. Thank you so much, Rabbi Josh Stanton, Reverend Brandan Robertson, and Imam Shamsi Ali. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Lindsay.